patriotic, and it has changed my life. I'm a fan of his ever since. I love this collection. Of most legendary supermodels and more. The four queens of the runway. Fashion, New York Fashion Week is right around the corner. Librarian tonight, and that's because I came to read a bitch. Jaja's Atelier, bitch.
People are alienated from each other to the point where people are afraid to have eye contact with other people, afraid to smile at people, afraid to say good morning, good afternoon, how you doing. That is hell. You know, when you're on a planet and you cannot relate to the other people who live next to you, who live upstairs, who live downstairs, then you have no community. And if you have no community, how do you organize a community that does not exist? How do you work in a community that does not exist? So a lot of us are going to have to go back to block, door to door, people to people, how you doing, ways of organizing, and not just organizing the masses, the faceless masses, but organizing human beings and learning from those human beings, because we have a lot to learn.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Jaja's Atelier. That was a word from the late great Assata Shakur, who was a humanitarian and activist. She was a member of the Black Panther Party. She was also the aunt to, I believe, his aunts and his godmother to Tupac Shakur. Her and Afeni Shakur were very good friends. If you're not familiar with Assata Shakur, she was accused of pew-pewing a New Jersey state trooper on the turnpike. Y'all know I'm from Jersey. She ended up escaping from prison and, you know, running away to Cuba, where she, you know, stayed for from 1980 something to, you know, her untimely passing just the other day. So, you know, I've you know, done my research on her, you know, especially around the time when George Floyd passed away. I was looking for, you know, what did the pioneers of the previous generation do when they were up against these kind of injustices that we were facing around the time of COVID. And that's when I got to know who Assata Shakur was. And just a dynamic, powerful Black woman. She is part of the reason why Cuba is still on America's, what's the name of the list? I think it's like a terrorist list. I think they had them on the terrorist list because they, you know, house Assata Shakur, you know. And she talks about how Cuban is a lot like Africa. If you're not familiar with Assata Shakur, there's plenty of documentaries on her, even on YouTube. Make sure you go check her out. She's a huge part in our history. So please make sure you check her out. And more of them, like the closer to, you know, our time side of history. You know, 1980 something, 1985 wasn't that long ago, boo. Okay? Anyway, guys. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Jaja's. And rest in peace to Queen Assata as well. You know, again, she did pass last week, so I just wanted to give her a little honorable mention. Anyway, guys, so listen, welcome back to Jaja's Atelier. How are you all, my little masons and masonettes? Y'all been running my numbers up. Not on that last episode now. That last episode I gave y'all all hot topics. Like, you know, 3 or 4 of you got in my inbox and was chatting with me about, you know, what did I think about the hot topics. Now I need y'all to run it up. I need you to run it up. It will be much appreciated. Listen, so I was gonna do London, but then Milan came. I'm in the middle of doing home renovations, and I'm really hunkering down because I have a feeling it's gonna be a hell of a winter. And honey, I gotta get some shit situated. So pardon me for the delay, but we're gonna do London and Milan right here tonight. Um, Before we start that, we talked about Asada Shakur, and girl, I know I said we were gonna do all fashion, but I wouldn't be me if I didn't get a little political. I don't know what the hell they got going on with this government shutdown. I feel so sorry for all of these people that are losing their jobs. If it goes all the way down, it could affect my little 9 to 5 gig. It's gonna hit everybody. And in the video I just ran of Asada Shakur, she talks about, we don't even talk to each other anymore. We don't go outside. I don't know any of my neighbors. I don't know any of them aside from one, and she lives across the street. I don't talk to any of my neighbors. They don't talk to each other like that. And it's like there's no sense of community. Everybody is one, everybody's for themselves, And once these rural hospitals start getting shut down, because I'm in a town that uses not one but 2 rural hospitals. Once the stuff starts coming down the pike and we start feeling the effects of it, we're going to need doctors in the community that are willing to work pro bono. We're going to need lawyers in the community that are willing to work pro bono. We are going to need. Get over this racism and this animalistic narcissism that some of you red bellies have about all this race and evangelical and I'm a Christian and God bless America. Fuck all of that, bitch. They taking your benefits. They're taking your benefits. The groceries haven't gone down. They're threatening your jobs. Bitch, all they have left you with essentially is your whiteness. Now, I don't know about you, but whiteness can get you a lot of things, but it can't get you no free groceries. I'm just saying. I'm coming in hot. And for the love of God, can we please, enough with this Charlie Kirk stuff. Please, he's passed on, so we should pass on. Okay? We should move on. Excuse me, not pass on, but move on. Can we please move on? I had to get that out. I listen. I got time tonight, honey. I might do one hot topic because it's one hot topic that's swirling, but I'll save that for after. I'll make my mind up after the fact. So listen. All that aside, I just listen. I ran into somebody today that has not seen me since I was in college, maybe, or like in between high school and college, when I used to work at Bojangles, honey, back when I was a boy. And she's a white woman and she's a Trumper. And it wasn't today, it was the other day. I was shooting content out in the park. And she said, "Excuse me, did you used to work at Bojangles?" And I said, "Yeah, I know you. How are you doing?" She said, "Oh my God, you are so beautiful." She complimented me. She gave me a hug. And we ended up getting catching up, getting to talking. And she started crying. Like, she felt bad that she voted for Trump. And she was like, she never met a trans person before. She met a trans person a few months prior to seeing me the other day. And she was just like, all you guys are doing is out here being beautiful and making people laugh. She said, I could lose my job. I could lose my health care. And she took ownership and said to me, she said, but if that's what the price I have to pay for the dumbass decision I made, basically, then I'm just going to have to deal with it. She felt so bad. She talked about the farmers. Like, I'm going to tell y'all something. I see a tide turning. And even though it took them losing or potentially losing all that they have in order for them to realize the fuck shit that they did, listen, then go up there and do what you got to do. Do you feel as bad as them people felt on January 6th? I mean, how bad do you feel? I'm just saying. But do you feel bad enough to fight for everybody and let us sit this out? Because we tired. We tired. People are tired. Until white people, and there are some good white folk out there, good white folk. But until these real melatonin MAGA red bellies come out and say, hey, y'all doing too much, nothing is going to change. But I'll save the rest of my political commentary for the episode that's coming this weekend. And yes, there's an episode coming this weekend, God damn it. So listen, London Fashion Week was a ball to watch. London is not, they're handling up on business when it comes to what's going on in the world, but they are not letting that stop them from having a good time. And it really, really showed on the people on the street. The collections were defiant. I even saw one of the designers had this Buy Anna t-shirt in the collection, which I thought was cute. But I had to break it down to a few of my favorites because there was a lot of shows in London. I was usually London, and London goes by quicker than the others. But honey, they packed those days down. That's what took me so long. I was trying to get the notes amongst other things. So let's get into my first show. So the first London show I want to get into is Priya Aluwalia. I've talked about this young lady before. I'm a huge fan of her work. She debuted her Spring-Summer 2026 collection entitled Affinity, which I thought was a stunning crescendo of the beginning, middle, and end of love and relationships. If you're not familiar with this brand, she founded the brand in 2018. It focuses on creating clothing using dead stock fabrics and upcycled garments while enforcing eco-friendly practices while being inspired by Nigeria and India, which I believe is her lineage. I think one parent is Nigerian and one parent is Indian. But she grew up in London, so you have that, the influence of London in there as well. The collection, again, was all about the different stages of love. I mean, look at this. Absolutely beautiful. Hold on, let me pull it up here. Let me pull it all the way up here. I mean, come on. Come on. Let me tell y'all something. London, I've been to London 3 times in my life. London people just don't give a fuck. Like, you walk down the street, it seems like everybody's nice. Every place has its issues, but London is a pretty, like, cheerio, hello, how are you? It's easy going, for how fast paced it is. But these looks really embodied the London scene, and primarily the Black London scene. Like, when I see this collection, I see my mom, I see my older cousins, I see my cousins that are the same age as me. Shout out to Shamara and Afia, those are my cousins in London. I see, my cousin Owen and my cousin, Kay, when they were younger and Fly and doing their thing. I see that in this collection. First of all, let me tell you, I love the headpieces. The headpieces stole my heart. I also love these little micro mini satin puff dresses. The maxi dresses were everything. I love that she paired the 2-piece, satin looks with those really, really strong boots. And then you had these gowns. Honey, I absolutely lived for it. So huge congratulations to Priya Aluwalia, sorry. So let's get into our second collection, which, honey. So listen, we can't talk London without talking about Harris Reed. Harris Reed is a dynamo force in fashion. Not only is he the creative director and founder of his own house, he's also the creative director for Nina Ricci, which, you know, we're smack dab in the middle of Paris right now. So he'll be showing a collection for Nina Ricci, I believe, tomorrow. Um, so, and he's so young. I don't even think he's 30 yet. I think he's like 25, 26. I could be wrong, but he's fairly young to be the head of two major fashion houses. Um, I'm trying to summarize my notes here. I want to pick my words wisely. Um, what I love about Harris Reed is the fantasy of it all. I want to pick my words wisely because I really, really, really like Harris Reed. And I've exchanged a few DMs with Harris Reed actually, and I want to be respectful because I really, really respect what he's doing. I love the fantasy of it all, the foo la la of it all. It really takes you into another place. When I watch a Harris Reed show, I feel like I'm on chapter 12 of Les Miserables or The Odyssey. Like, you just don't ever know what you're going to get. But I do feel like with this collection, and he even said it in an interview out of his own mouth, for the 10th anniversary, he wanted to bring the grown and sexy a little bit, and he absolutely did that. I love these color combos. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. I love these color combos, these high-heeled stilts that the models were wearing. I mean, this opening look right here is just absolutely stunning. And then you have looks like this second look right here, which, I mean, a lot of people were looking at it like, who's gonna wear that? I hate when people do that shit. This is fashion. Fashion is meant to be a little uncomfortable. You know, the more eccentric, the less comfortable the look is. And then you had looks like this one. Look at the structure of this. This is a different side to Harris Reed. This is listen, you know, he's recently married. Excuse me, they are recently married. Forgive me for the pronoun slip. They are recently married. So it's just like, listen, I'm a married girl now, honey. I'm in my bag. I'm the creative director of two major fashion houses, darling. Listen, I am that bitch right now. And that's what this collection gave me. This collection gave me honey. Do you have an appointment? I'm trying not to do too much, but I was really, really happy for Harris Reed seeing this collection. And they looked absolutely stunning for their, for their for their finale walkout at the end. So huge congratulations to Harris Reed. I am a huge fan of your work. You know I love you. Yeah. So listen, although I love Harris Reed and I had a hard time picking my favorite from London, honey, let me just tell you. Oops, somebody's texting me. Sidebar. Y'all know I'm back on the dating sites again, honey. I have no self-discipline when it comes to, a good time. But anyway. I had a really hard time. Ooh. When that hotline bling. Bing, bing, bing. Oh, honey, the girl is in high demand this evening. So listen, I had a really hard time picking my favorite collection because there were so many shows. I have talked about this young lady before, and I watched her whole show on YouTube, and it almost made me want to cry. Zalara Fin de Coglu. I think that's how you pronounce it. We've talked about her on here on the show before. And she's she's from Turkey. And the way she tells a story with her collections, reminds me a lot of Lee Alexander McQueen, and a lot of people were making that comparison. To have that comparison so early on in your career, you know, and I'm so happy for her. When I tell y'all London was a good fucking time, London was a good fucking time. So hold on, let me pull my notes up here. Where are they? Hold on, y'all. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Here we go. So, Dilara Findikoglu has set the bar for London so high. Take a look at this. I'm just not even going to say anything. Just let it roll. Now, the spring summer 2026 collection was entitled Cage of Innocence, which critics are predicting will go down in history, again, even comparing it to Alexander McQueen. It was a story of feminine and sexual liberation and the journey to get there, with inspirations from the London club scene, the Victorian era, and bondage, BDSM, darling. Listen, I have no words. I have no fucking words. I told y'all, I almost cried when I watched it. Let me pull it up over here. We're going to have to find a different way to do this, y'all, because this is driving me crazy going back and forth. All right. Absolutely stunning. The way she goes from damsel in distress to, you know, this character rescuing herself, putting on men's clothes, and then breaking free of all reality is how she describes it. I love the face mask, which is actually made out of Turkish silver. You can see it running through the whole collection, from the shoes, it's embroidered on the gowns. Like, she's incorporating her heritage in these, intricate, little ways. And my favorite looks. Let's get into my favorite looks before I show you a video of her in an interview describing her collection. Let me get into my favorite looks. This first look right here, this one right here. When I saw this, I did think, oh, this is reminding me of McQueen a little bit. I love like the dirtiness of it. I love like it's not perfect. It doesn't have to be razor. Even though we appreciate that, I like to see flaws glamorized in clothes. I do, because listen, we're coming to a place where we're going to have to use dead stock fabrics. We're going to have to use what we got to make something new. That's where we're heading. Not just in the United States, but in the world. And I think, like, when we see designers that, ooh, my hair is really giving, honey. When we see designers that, step outside of the norm and, step outside of perfection, we need to pay attention. This look made me pay attention. Then you have this look right here. Honey, this whole look is inspired by a horse saddle. Even the back, you can't see the back from right here, but the back has this mane of hair coming out the girl's ass crack. I mean, super fucking sexy, but it's not sexy for no reason. It has a meaning behind it. Then you have this look, again, Turkish silver all the way through, down to the shoes. These boots are insane. Then you have the piece de la resistance, darling. The Victorian bloody cherry dress. Oh my God. Honey, this girl looked like she got ran over by 6 dicks, and I am living for it. Well, maybe she was running away from 6 dicks, because, this is all about female empowerment and womanhood and sister girl. Honey. I absolutely love Dilara Findikoglu. Congratulations. Now, critics caught up with her behind the show, after the show, Let's take a look at what she said. It's a little lengthy, but I want to play it anyway. Here we go.
It took everything out of me. I have nothing left. The collection is called Cage of Innocence. This girl in a village is tied in this room in white dresses, and she puts on men's clothes and escapes. And at the end, she disconnects from everything real, and then she just becomes another creature. And it's about giving freedom to my ancestors and anyone who never had freedom. I feel like women have been kept in cages of innocence, purity, being told they have to be clean and represent virginity, all these kind of stuff. But we come out of this cage today. This collection is about giving voice to women that never actually have had it. And also for me to heal from my ancestral burden, because I feel this every day. Even though I look like the most confident person in the world, I actually am really emotional and insecure. And I feel the guilt that doesn't belong to me. And I really hope that after this collection, I can embrace my confidence truly and leave the burden behind, because I'm setting them free. It's that emotional. It gave me so much goosebumps. The girls in cages of white dresses, now they're out of there, I hope. It's basically an ode to two of my favorite places in the world, Istanbul and London at the same time, both of my homes. So there are a lot of Turkish elements with Victorian white dresses. I feel like wherever you're from, you were forced to put in that cage. So I don't really care about borders at all. Like, it's not a thing for me. It's about unity, community. And like us women, we're pretty vulnerable and it's our strength. And this collection is about also balancing it, toughness and softness all together. And I think every day is so important to make this statement. But when we're trying to be tough, sometimes we think vulnerability is weakness. And I literally experience this every day. I feel like everyone would relate to it so much. I put a shield on myself to look constantly so strong, because I think when I'm vulnerable, I'm going to come across weak. But actually, there's so much power and vulnerability too.
Again, congratulations, Zalara Findakoglu. You have won the Atelier's London Fashion Week collection of the season, honey. You shut it down. You came to do what needed to be done, honey. Huge shout out to her. And listen, isn't it funny how this need for community, whether through community activism like Asada Shakur, or through expression, through garment making and fashion from Delara, two women from two different times, two different ethnicities, two different parts of the world, two different walks of life, and they stand, they Asada had and Jalaria wants for the same thing. When people say that art and real world issues and politics and world events really do collide, a lot of people be like, oh girl, it's just clothes. No, it's more than clothes. It's more than clothes. She was really sending a message because, Turkish women don't have the same rights, in their country or didn't used to have the same rights in their country as women in this country have. I don't think they do now, to be honest with you. I'm not quite sure. I don't want to speak out of turn, but we've seen it on even like Jersey Housewives with Jennifer Aiden. If you watch Jersey Housewives, you know who I'm talking about, but she was Turkish. And I mean, they still have arranged marriage. You can't even, that woman can't even pick their own man. So again, huge congratulations to Delara. I felt where she was coming from, and I appreciate the effort that she puts in to push these collections beyond just sexy models on a runway. She really tells a story and delivers a meaningful message. And that's what I love. That's what gets me. That's what gets me. So huge congratulations to her again. I can't say it enough. Now, let's fly the plane over to Milan, shall we? Buongiorno. Now, let me tell y'all something. Milan left me. It didn't leave me moist like it normally does. I don't know what it was. I did make a little bit of a disturbing discovery, which I think I'm going to be honest. the discovery I made upon some research about a designer that we're going to get into towards the end, um, really just took me aback, and I just had to take a break for a minute to process it all. I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was. But aside from that, I have two favorite shows from London and an honorable mention. The honorable mention is the disturbing thing that I found, which we're going to get into in a second. But first, again, we this fashion month, it was a lot of highly anticipated debuts. And Bottega Veneta has a new creative director. We talked about this on the show. And Louise Trotter did her motherfucking thing. A lot of people were counting her out. And I don't know. I said Matthew Blasey was going to be a tough shoes to fill, but I think she has surpassed him. And Matthew Blasey, even though Bottega Veneta was brought to the runway and the forefront by a black man when it pertains to ready to wear. Okay. Just had to put that out there. We're doing everything black now over here, darling. We've always done everything black over here. Matthew Blasey really, really, really put the brand on the map in a different way, in a more mainstream kind of a way. And I mean, it was viral bag after viral shoe after viral trench coat after viral belts. I actually have a Bottega belt. It doesn't quite fit because they don't make sizes for us big girls, but I make it work. But Louise Trotter, she tapped into, and I talked about this a lot before when we talk about the musical chairs of these creative directors in these fashion houses. She really she really answered to what the consumers want. And, I've seen in the comments in past shows, we love this, but we want something a little bit more relatable. And that's what she gave. I mean, look at and it doesn't look wearable, but it absolutely is. I mean, I even saw it up close. In the showroom. Not me personally, but online. I'll get there one day. Don't you worry, bitch. But this was just absolutely stunning. Listen, honey, the bags, the jackets, the coats. It was giving very much 80s power dressing. It was a little folky. And then it was really fantasy. The rest of it was just absolute fantasy out of this world. Take a look at some of my favorite looks. First, we have this look right here. Now, this coat are you ready for this? This is made out of used old fiberglass, repurposed fiberglass. I mean, come the fuck on. I love the disheveled skirt down at the bottom. A lot of it was very, very intricate, very, very complex. But it was in the silhouette of something familiar, something simple. You know what I mean? Something wearable, which is what the women have been wanting. Then we have this look right here. Look at this coat. This is giving Matrix. Honey. She's playing into that classic Bottega woven leather, thing that they've been having going on for years now. And then there was this white dress, which I really, really loved. Now that the moans are moaning, honey, these shoulders are breaking down a little bit. So, I'm kind of feeling myself. I've been wearing some off the shoulder stuff, darling. So I would love this in my closet. But my favorite look has to be this one right here. Honey, if this is not giving a nuanced twist on Melanie Griffith's Working Girl, y'all know when it comes to film and fashion inspo, that and Girl 6 has to be in my top 5. if not the one and the two. And that's what this gave me. So huge congratulations to Louise Trotter. I thought this was absolutely stunning. And for my favorite collection of Milan Fashion Week, and I think this is for about the second or third year in the row, I had to give it to Maximilian Davis for Ferragamo. I had to give it to Maximilian Davis for Ferragamo, honey. Honey! Hold on, let me get my notes together, bitch. You see, I have to figure out how to do this differently because when I load it up like this, it doesn't always pop up, and I need my notes. Hold on, guys. Okay, so I'm just gonna have to wing it because I don't have my notes. It split the fucking thing in half. Why does it do that? I don't know. Well, I loved it so much, I don't need my notes. Fuck it. So, listen. Maximilian Davis is perhaps one of the only black creative directors to hold down a legacy fashion house. Ferragamo is huge. Very it's not a brand that people really throw in your face and brag about like Dior and Gucci and all of that. But honey, Salvatore Ferragamo as the brand is timeless, iconic, familiar with everybody. You know, I even think my grandpa had a Salvador Ferragamo belt. But this collection, I saw a lot of 1920s inspo, these flapper gowns with this fringe in the front. It was sexy. It was business chic, all wrapped in one. I saw a lot again. The 80s are back. Let me just tell you. If you thought it was just Doja Cat, honey, it's all over the place. The cowboy shit is out. It's all about the 80s working man and woman, honey. That's the power aesthetic that we're going for, darling. I absolutely loved this collection. These dresses right here are my favorite looks, though. This, oh, this, I'm a little buzzed. This look right here, this patent leather dress right here, it's strong, but it's so sexy and delicate and feminine at the same time. I also loved the menswear. The menswear really blew me away too. And then I also love the suits on the women with these fringed look, with these fringed satin scarf belts wrapped around the waist. It kind of gave me a little bit of a karate uniform vibe, but glamorized, which I like. So, listen, huge congratulations to to Maximilian Davis on this collection. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. You do it every time, and he doesn't get the credit, the public notoriety that he deserves. But quite frankly, he's so quiet and handsome and laid back. I don't even think he really give a fuck. He's like, I just want to create and get my check, honey. That's what he gives every time I see him. This is him. Isn't he so handsome? So handsome. So listen, I'm gonna close it here. So we had a lot of highly anticipated debuts. And Dario Vitale made history becoming the first person to design a collection for the House of Versace outside of the Versace family. You know, Donatella stepped down a couple months ago. We talked about this at least 2 or 3 episodes, I know. And a lot of people were shocked. A lot of people were like, oh God, you know, this isn't really going to work. They were complaining. On first sight of the new collection, now I'm going to pull it up. Hold on, wait a minute. On first sight of the new collection, I thought, what the fuck is this? And then as the looks were coming down the runway, I said, oh, he is stripping the house down to the bare bones and starting out from the beginning of Versace. He's pulling inspiration from, and you know what? The girls that hated it and immediately went online to tell everybody how much they hated it, yeah, we could tell you don't know a whole lot about fashion. And and some of them are the girls with lots of followers, honey. And, ooh, honey, this hair with lots of followers, honey, that are all at the shows, honey, that look down their nose at those who don't have as many followers, who don't get to go to the shows. One of them threw shade at me last year, but we won't mention any names. And, you know, they got online immediately, was like, I hate it, without watching the whole show. I can always tell in the comments the people that just watch the finales and don't watch the whole show. If you don't watch the whole show, you're not going to get the vibe. You're just not. And I thought he did a great job. I really did. You know, you guys, I was doing my daily, or every 3 days I was doing reels, you know, kind of summing up the days before of who I liked and who I didn't. And in my research, however, ooh, that was a breathe in, an inhale, and a burp at the same time. God damn it. In my research, because, you know, here's pictures of, you know, if you need reference, but in trying to find reference photos, I came across this. And I was really shocked. And I didn't even believe that it was actually Versace, but it is Versace. Spring Summer 1995 to be exact, and it's called the Blues Print jean. Now, I've seen Versace do prints of famous people before, and they actually use their real face. Why, when it came to us, y'all had to use, and listen, I know this is old, but I'm tired of, let me tell y'all something about fashion. Fashion is really passive aggressive. Okay, and I know Gianni Versace is no longer with us. He hasn't been with us for some time now. But I'm just like, again, fashion is really racially passive aggressive. They really, a lot of the time they really are. Do I think Gianni Versace was a racist? I don't know. You know, I said I did an Instagram reel on this, and on a YouTube short, and I said, "Oh well, of course he's not racist. We see him with Naomi and Iman, but I don't know. Just because you hang around black people don't mean you really like them. It's bitches that used to hang around me all the time that don't give a fuck about me. You've seen some of them. Couldn't stand me, but was around me. Y'all saw it." And it just really made me look at the House of Versace in a different way. Like, I'm not completely, because let me be clear, in a lot of other countries, cartoons like this are appropriate. They're branded as appropriate. Oh, they don't care. They love it over there in America. So I could give you that benefit of the doubt. And they haven't done anything as of late, other than that little debacle at their store in LA, that would make me think that they're racist. But it's just, you see stuff like this, and it's just like, come on, Gianni, why would you do this? When you do white icons or muses, you use their actual picture. You don't make a caricature of them. Why, when it came to us, we had to be a caricature? You couldn't find a picture of Etta James and put it on the jeans. You couldn't find a picture of, you know, any black American jazz singer and put it on the jeans. An actual picture. It's very passive aggressive, and it makes me wonder. But I will say that has nothing to do with Dario Batali, but it did kind of ruffle my feathers a little bit. But as far as Dario Batali's collection, I liked it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I liked it. And I think, a lot of these creative directors that are coming into these major fashion houses, they're trying to find their footing. And if you need to go down to the very, very beginning of the house founder's career to find your footing, fuck what the people have to say. Do what you need to do. Because you need to find your footing so you can make this company as much money as you possibly can. And to make a name for yourself. And I think he's being very careful because, again, he is the first person outside of the Versace family to design for the brand. So, huge congratulations to Dario Batali. And Versace, I'm watching you. Before we go, I hated the Dolce & Gabbana show. I really, really did. But before I go, why... Let me pull it up. Where is it? Why is Meryl Streep and Stanley Tucci at the Dolce & Gabbana show dressed in their characters from Devil Wears Prada? You all are ruining this movie for us. I thought this was cheesy. I didn't like it. I don't like when her and Anna Wintour get together and, oh, am I Anna? No, I'm Anna. I'm the meanest, editor-in-chief. No, I'm the meanest editor-in-chief. It is so corny. Y'all did the shit already. Let it the fuck go. Film the fucking movie and let us watch it and be surprised. I have seen every outfit, every hairstyle, every shoe. You did it in Vogue China with the other girl. What's her name? Emily Blunt. You did it with Anne Hathaway for American Vogue. Like, let us enjoy the fucking movie. You might as well put it out on Tubi when you're done. Anyway, I had to get that off my chest. But listen, guys, I will be back in a few days. I promise. I've got my shit together. I promise. And I will be coming back in a few days with some hot topics. I was going to get into it tonight, but I don't have time. It is running late, and I have to be to work first thing in the morning. But I am going to talk about that Nicki Cardi stuff because, girl, y'all both is too old and too rich for this bullshit. Anyway, I love you guys. Stay tuned because I also have an episode coming wrapping up Paris Fashion Week and all of Fashion Month. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Ciao.